What's up, everyone? It's Chicks in the Office with Rhea and Fran, giving you that Friday energy on a Friday. Hope everyone is ready for the weekend. It's Labor Day weekend. Some might call it the last weekend of the summer, heading into the fall.
Some might. It's September.
It is September. Oh, shit. Tomorrow's my brother's birthday.
Oh, shit.
It just hit me.
Wow.
I'm excited for September.
Frankie's a Virgo, huh?
Yeah, he is.
Oh, my sister's birthday is on Saturday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we had a dinner for her last night.
Wow, everybody. So many September birthdays. I'm telling you.
My brother's fiance's birthday was on Monday, and his is on Friday. So they're both.
Beyonce's birthday's on Sunday.
Happy birthday, Beyonce.
Yeah. A lot of September. My friend Elizabeth is also tomorrow.
Your birthday is in September.
My birthday's in September. There is basically like half of my New York group of gals are born in September.
Yes,
half of us.
They are. Because when we first started this podcast, I did not believe you when you kept saying you had birthday dinners.
Yeah.
And I was like, she always has birthday dinners.
Yeah.
I would talk behind your back and be like, she always has birthday dinners.
When you want to hang out and she
Literally everybody I know is born in September. Like it's my
birthday
busiest
dinners.
month.
Like I don't get it. Who has that many birthday dinners? Fran.
Yeah, no, my friends do love a good birthday. I just had one. We just did one this week for my friend.
And so you're not having one this year? I don't want to keep poking.
I don't. I don't
you're
know.
Not invited.
No.
I can't take these jokes anymore.
Oh my god. I don't.
You're not in the
I don't
Facebook
think so.
group?
The Facebook group. The Facebook group. Remember when we used to do like
you didn't get the Facebook invite?
You didn't get the Facebook invite? Wow, Facebook invites.
That was
we
a
really
thing
did
though
that
when we
for
first
everything. Yeah.
When we first started here, there were all Facebook invites.
A few years ago, it was the funniest thing. We forgot to send one Facebook invite to one of our like really good guy friends for this like combined birthday of my friends, and we get to the party. We're like an hour in, and we're like, "Where the hell is he? Like, this is so rude that he's not here." And we like texted him, and he was like, "What party?" And we were like, "Oh my god, we forgot to invite you."
That's so mean.
Did he come?
No, it was.
I wouldn't come. I'd be like, "Fuck you guys."
It was too late. But he really did genuinely believe that we forgot to invite him, since we literally texted him like, "Where the fuck are you?"
That reminds me of, I was watching last night the Curb episode when Larry goes to the Funk Housers and was like, "Oh, I thought the party was last night."
Yeah.
And then he goes to Ted Danson. He's like, "I thought the party was last night." Good episode.
I don't know. There's like my birthday is a Tuesday, and it's the Bachelorette finale, and then like Wednesday,
you are so
Thursday,
blessed.
Yeah,
Happy birthday, Fran.
I can't believe the both of us have watched the Bachelorette on our birthdays.
My birthday? No, the Bachelorette wasn't on my birthday. It was the day before. Remember?
Oh, it was the day before.
Yes.
But we still, right. It was
Don't worry, we're gonna celebrate extra hard.
Yeah, I mean, man, they really hit.
I'm gonna have a stripper.
That's why. Because I thought it was. In my mind, I had thought, it is going to be the same structure when I thought it was going to be on Monday, since our birthdays we're both Tuesdays. Right. So I thought that was...
Our birthdays always land on the same day of the year.
Yeah, there's probably, like, the math for that probably makes sense.
Right.
Wait, what?
Would you welcome a stripper on your birthday in this office?
While we watch The Bachelorette?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be against it.
Okay. We got to make it spicy,
Yeah.
because that is going to be one boring night.
Yeah.
Wait, it's the finale, isn't it?
Yeah, well, so apparently they've changed the schedule. Apparently they've changed the schedule for the Bachelorettes. Now we have two...
Is awry.
Something is awry. Something's going on, because it was supposed to be Tuesday, this Tuesday, the 6th, with no Monday.
Keep going.
Oh, you looking at my t-shirt?
Yeah. No, I'm grabbing your tits.
Oh, I mean, you never know. Tuesday, it was supposed to be Tuesday the 6th. Oh, no, it was supposed to be Monday. Excuse me. Monday the 5th, Labor Day night. And then it was going to be Tuesday the 13th and Tuesday the 20th. And we are going to have 2 weeks of fantasy suites and then live finale. Now, we got a 2-night fantasy suites, Monday, Tuesday, August 5th and August 6th, and then the 13th and the 20th, the 2 Tuesdays, are 2 live finales, apparently. 2-part finale.
Something must have happened.
happened.
Something must have happened.
Yeah. Something happened.
Who knows what fucking happened with the show? But something must
happened
happen.
in like the last 2 weeks, I guess.
I know. Let's talk about that at another time.
All right, so they changed that. But I'll let you know about a birthday dinner if one pops up.
Sure.
As of right now, it seems like probably a no, because it's hard to schedule. My birthday's the 20th. My friend Lauren's the 21st. My friend Catherine's the 22nd.
Well,
so it's
maybe
like
we can
if we miss my birthday, then we kind of just have to segue right into somebody else's.
Maybe we can go to dinner before the Bachelorette finale.
Yeah.
And we can get a little toasty.
Yeah.
And then watch the show.
That sounds nice.
Okay, we'll do something. We went to
Pencil it in.
yeah. We went to the U.S. We went to the U.S. Open last night.
We did. It was so fun.
Serena won because we were there.
Yep.
It was
not because of all the other celebrities.
No, not because of all this other celebrities at all. We were the true A-listers there. It was really awesome. Honestly, got super into it. Cutest moment was my Nano FaceTiming me. And him
so
just
cute.
watching with a smile on his face, like just smiling from ear to ear. And then I had to hang up because he made a loud noise.
There was also the cutest little family in front of us, and the little girl is probably like 5, 4 or 5. 5 would be my guess.
Okay.
And it's late. It's getting late. She was tired, and she had her head in her dad's lap, and her dad was rubbing her head. But every time like Serena would win a point or something good would happen, she'd just be laying like this and just raise her arm in the air and go, yay. She'd be like, yeah. Because her dad's like, let's go, Serena. And they're like, yeah, Serena.
It was awesome.
It was awesome. Great atmosphere.
Very cool.
The match was great. The first set was insane.
It was the best match to attend
It was so far. Totally.
And let me say,
She's
I learned
got the lingo down.
Yeah.
game, set, match. I learned all the lingo for tennis.
Yeah.
So whenever I play tennis with my Nano, which is why we always call him a cheater, because he'll just like give points, take away,
Yeah.
because we don't know the rule. Like we
Yeah,
don't really
yeah,
know
yeah.
the real rules. And this is also with Italian card games that we play with him. He knows the rules, we don't. So you never know when he's cheating or not. So I just let him count, and he always wins. So I never like actually learned the rules of tennis.
I kind of want to quiz you.
Okay.
So if we're playing and I serve, and get the point, what's the score?
15-0.
15 love.
We didn't really go into too much.
Oh, okay.
Like
I just know
we
that
just
it
went
goes
the points
15.
up.
I just know it goes
Yeah.
15, 30, 40, and then if they both get to the same
40.
thing, then it's a deuce, which
Double
is where
deuce.
the honey deuces come in.
Yeah.
And then if they get another point, then they have the advantage,
If I
and they have to get a
serve
double point.
and it hits
Yeah.
the net and goes over, what's that called?
Don't know. I don't know those
let.
terms. More like I know the pointing,
Yes.
the scoring.
She just needed to.
pointing.
She just needed to know like what's the score? How does
how
Serena
does
win
scoring
this?
work? And I got that.
Yes.
There's six games, right? Which is one set.
It depends.
Well, it depends. There
Yes.
needs to be at least 6.
You have to get 6 points. Like
you have to get
it's
6. You have to
you
win
have to-
6 games to win this.
yeah.
Yes.
You have to win 6 games
Yeah.
to win the set.
I know when I'm watching it.
Yeah,
And in
then
men- and in
and then
men's-
the first set, we had the tie break, so we got to learn about
I
that
got a little
too.
tie
It was-
break.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was really
Isn't-
educational.
It was. I was very into it.
Yeah. In men's, you have to win 3.
Yeah, men's
sets.
is 3. You win. It's
3 to
it's
win,
basically
yeah.
best 3 out of 5,
Yeah,
and this is
women's
best 2
2
out of 3.
Yeah.
And
Very
it went to
into
3, and it was awesome. And Serena was great. The crowd was great. The atmosphere was great.
The food.
Beautiful night. Great food. Great drinks. Honey deuce.
Yeah.
Phenomenal
How did you
drink.
like the honeydew?
I said,
Delish.
Francesca, you barely touched your melons.
Yeah.
Because she wasn't eating her melons from the drink. The first one was different than the second one.
Oh, well, it was so packed. Like everyone, how when everyone's whispering about how packed it is, everyone's like, oh my God. Because there's the people that are always there.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh my God, it's never like this for the second round. So everyone's complaining about how packed it is because the lines were crazy. And so the first honeydews we got at the proper Grey Goose tent, whatever stand you want to call it, they give you the vodka, raspberry liqueur, and lemonade. But then I went to the second place, this bar, when the line was so crazy and the match was about to start, so I didn't want to miss any of Serena. So I went into a different line, and it was a line just for the bar in general. You could get any drink there.
Yeah.
And you could get them there, but he made them with soda. So it was the vodka. It was just basically vodka soda with the raspberry liqueur. Not the same.
I remember when I went last year, the lady told me, my friend, she's like, if you give me like a couple extra bucks, I'll give you extra liquor. So we just kept going back to her. Gave me double.
Wow.
Very nice.
That is
I
very
mean,
nice.
they were strong. They are churning those things out.
Yeah.
Everybody's walking around with one of those. But it's such a nice setting. They have like all these stores and food and vendors. It's very fun. It was my first time ever going to the US Open.
I had 2 hot dogs and chicken tenders and fries.
They
ran out of sauce.
Good.
No honey mustard, which I was upset by, but other than that, it was fine.
Yeah.
They were really good.
Yeah.
I had quite the aftermath of the US Open.
Yeah.
That you did not endure.
No,
and I had... My legs are killing me today.
Yeah. So we went with my friend Jen as well. Jen is my tennis friend. You know, she played. And so Jen and I were like, well, let's stay for a little bit because we want to watch the men's played after, and the number 1 ranked player is playing after Serena. So we're like, oh, let's watch a little. He's going to crush this guy, which he did. But like, let's just watch like the first set and see what happens. And the Serena's match ended a little bit after the Mets game ended. So there was a Mets game going on. So people are leaving the Mets game. And everybody, like, the stadium emptied out after Serena.
Yeah.
Everybody went home. So everyone was leaving at the same time. And Rhea was like, I got to get out of here. So I'm going to leave. And we're like, okay, we're going to wait it out. She didn't want to wait it out.
Why?
So she left.
I was really exhausted.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get...
And it backfired.
I had to go back to Jersey.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like just one stop going into city. I had to go back to Jersey. So I was like, I want to get out of here earlier than you guys because you guys are just going back to the city. So I go to the train and I'm going to make the 10:07, right? But it's so packed between the US Open people and the Mets fans, okay?
Yeah.
And I am a Mets fan. But last night things might have changed after that, okay?
Did they win or lose last night?
They won.
They won. Okay.
Okay,
yeah,
well, trust me, they won because listen to this. So
everybody's feeling a little rowdy.
So I get to the train station, and before, if you've been to Citi Field or Yankee Stadium, you take the train. They don't check your train tickets on the train. They check them when you get off or before you get on by train conductors standing on the platforms before. So there was no lines. It was just a clusterfuck of people, okay? Just wherever you can get in, you had to squeeze in. So I'm like, oh, okay. I'm squeezing in. I'm standing behind this, what looks like a nice couple, because I'm like, they look safe. I'm alone. And I'm standing there for a good 3-4 minutes before I hear an old lady's voice start screaming behind me. This girl cut me. This guy, I look up and she's pointing at me. And she's like, this girl cut me, screaming to everybody, okay? And I'm like, oh
Mets
my God.
Fan.
Yes, Mets fan.
Is she in a t-shirt or a jersey?
T-shirt.
Okay.
And she's with her husband.
Okay.
And they must be in their 60s.
Oh my Lord.
And she's screaming and they gotta be drunk. And she's pointing at me and I'm like, oh my God, if anyone sees me, this is so embarrassing. And so I'm like, I'm putting my head down.
We gotta cut her.
Yeah.
We gotta cut her.
She cut me and I'm like, I didn't cut you. Cause I didn't. I swear to God. I
know how it works.
When everyone's just like mushed together.
Yes. It's a wave of people.
It's a wave. There was no cutting to exist.
But also, there's no such thing as cutting.
No, you couldn't.
There's also no cutting when you're just trying to get on the fucking LIRR.
No, right. No, but this was the platform before the platform. So it was like, so there was no cutting.
This is for the conductor to check the ticket.
Check the ticket.
Yes.
There was just a mosh of people.
Because
there was no cutting existing.
And the way they do it is like there's 6 rows where they have the metal barricades separating them.
You couldn't even see.
Exactly. It's not like everyone's in a single file line to the barricade. Right. It's a mob of people outside, and then you kind of
you shuffle in wherever you can.
Wherever you can.
Wherever you can.
Yeah.
So she's screaming, I swear to God, at the top of her lungs. This girl cut me. This girl cut me. I'm fucking sick of this shit. And I was like, I literally was like, and I'm alone, so I'm like, how feisty do I want to be?
Yeah.
But I was in a mood after this. I was like, I didn't cut you. I was just like, I didn't cut you. And she was like, no, you cut me. You cut me. I've been doing this for 60-something years, and you fucking cut me. I said, you sound pretty old. I said this. It just came out. I don't even know where that came from. It was one of those, you say something as a
you
joke.
went with you old bag.
Yeah, I literally, it just came out of my mouth. And one of those things where if I was with anyone else, I don't know if I would have said that, but it was more like the comedic relief of the people around me. Like maybe they would laugh, but they all like put their heads down like, we don't want to deal with this. So I was like, you sound pretty old. And she was like, I'm done. I'm sick of it. Like screaming her head off. Her husband goes, come on, the Mets won. Like as if.
To you or to his wife?
To his wife. Like, come on, the Mets won.
You're going to ruin the night. We got to win. Now you're going to ruin the night?
Like, who cares about this? The Mets won. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? She's still screaming at me. Shoulder bumps me, okay? Shoulder bumps me and goes, I'm going to stand in front of you because that's where I belong. I said, okay, go ahead. It doesn't matter if I'm in front of you, you're behind me. We're not moving. They said close the gates. We're not moving.
Yeah.
So I'm like flustered at this point. Like, there's no movement. She then whittles her way up a little bit more to a few other people, starts pointing at them. They cut me. And her husband goes, no one fucking cut you. Jesus fucking Christ. And I was like, so then I said to myself, her husband was getting pissed. This fucking bitch. And I'm like, oh my God, these two are going to they love each other so much, but one of those like couples where they probably scream their heads off each other and then fucking attack each other and start having sex. Like I wanted out. So I was like, okay, they close the gates. I'm not making this train. I see signs for rideshare apps.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I will
bite the bullet.
But I was like, the one time I'm taking public transportation by myself is not working out.
Yeah.
I'm going to go get an Uber. Long walk, okay?
Yeah.
Long walk.
I saw the signs.
Long walk to the rideshare place.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to tell a story that I didn't know if I should tell, but I'm going to tell it anyway because it's sad, whatever. It also freaked me out. So I walk all the way, okay? Long. I wish I knew how long, but it's a long way. I show up. I'm like, oh my God, this is a disaster. Like, I have never seen
hundreds of people.
I've never seen a rideshare location like this.
Trying to get Ubers.
Shit. I call my Uber. It says 2 minutes. So I'm like, all right, maybe I'll see him. Okay. I'm just getting really stressed out. Okay. I get a call from a random number, and I'm like, this must be
the Uber.
This must be the Uber. Get a call from a random number. And this woman is like, oh my God, is this Chicks in the Office? And I'm like,
no.
I'm like, who is this? And she starts going on and on. My name is blah, blah, blah. I creep. She kept using the word creep. I creep on Chicks in the Office all the time. I'm always looking on Chicks in the Office. I creep on Chicks in the Office all the time. And I noticed there was a number,
I don't know
how this happened. I noticed there was a number connected to the Instagram that you can contact. So I called it and it's you. And I was like, I didn't say anything. And she goes, so anyways, I was kidnapped the other day.
Let's make sure that that's turned off.
It is.
Okay, good.
I wouldn't tell the story if it wasn't shut off. She goes, so anyways, I was kidnapped the other day. As soon as I hear that, I hang up. Okay?
Yeah.
And now this
I don't have time for this.
This sounds awful, but a random number as I'm waiting for my Uber tells me I was
in your
kidnapped.
mind, it's also like, holy shit, and my phone number's been on the Instagram.
I'm like, how? All these things are running through my head. I'm waiting for an Uber.
Yeah.
I thought you were my Uber driver, so I answered. My number is public right now.
Yeah.
You're telling me over the phone so casually. She was so casual about it. I got kidnapped the other day. I'm like, and now I'm terrified. So I hang up. She sends me this long message about how she is an Uber driver. She's an Uber driver. And an Uber rider got in her car and basically held her to gunpoint. Okay.
Oh my Lord.
So I get this long message and now I'm like, oh my God, I'm waiting for an Uber right now.
By the way, she did ask, I feel like the point of her
was to spread awareness.
Spread awareness that it happened, which you are doing. Right
I am spreading awareness that this happened.
Yes. Like she was like, I'm not asking for anything. I just want this to be out there.
And I felt, so then I look up the story because I'm like, is this fake? Like, I think anybody would have the same reaction where you get a random phone call being like, I was kidnapped the other day, and you're like, holy fuck. And it has to do with Uber, and you're waiting for your Uber, and you're like, my mind was in a tizzy. So I get this long message. I look it up. It's real. I feel awful now because I'm like, she just told me she was kidnapped, and I hung up the phone. I just hung up the phone. But now I'm spreading awareness that this did happen. And it's awful. So please be extra careful in your Ubers and your Lyfts and just everywhere. Like I feel so bad for her, but I also was like, she just randomly called my phone to tell me she was kidnapped. Like, this is such a crazy thing that's happening right now. So then I felt awful after that. I was like, oh my God, I just hung up on this poor girl who was kidnapped the other day. Yeah. She's sending me this long message. This is awful. So I'm glad I'm spreading the awareness now on that. And I realized that it was a real story because there's so many stories nowadays that you hear, like,
that's of
and like people
when you get
tricking
random numbers and stuff, they try and get your information and
or just like you hear like stories of like people getting like young women to trick other young women into things. So I was like, I didn't know what was going on. I was really freaked out. But I'm so sorry that this happened to this woman, and I'm glad I'm spreading awareness now, but I was very taken aback. So then I walk to try to see if there's any way I can get my Uber. No. I bet that these people didn't get home until 2 a.m. last night because of how long. There was no movement. Absolutely no movement of getting an Uber. So I say, okay, I'm going to walk back to the train. I'm going to go take the train, walk back. It was a confusing path from the rideshare back to the train. I couldn't remember where I came from. So I passed these cops. And I go, excuse me, in my nice, cute voice, excuse me, do you know which way is the train station? Points me in one direction. I start walking across, in that direction. I end up across the highway. I took a picture, okay?
Oh, no.
I end up across the highway into a dark park.
Oh, good.
Okay? Once I passed this highway, I said, I am not on my way to the train station.
You're going the wrong way.
I'm going the wrong way.
Yeah.
So this is a point where I almost broke down. I said, get it together.
By the way, at this point, I thought you were just on your way back into the city. I had no idea.
The only person who was hearing about any of this was Marty, because I was texting him furiously, like just venting, being like, I'm going to lose my mind.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right. I was like, having talked to myself, like, you can't have a breakdown in the middle. You're alone. People are going to think something happened to you. So just get yourself together and you walk back to the train station. So I'm walking back past the cops. And as I pass the cops, I hear another woman ask the cops
where the train is,
which way the train station is, and they point her in the wrong direction. And I said, no, that's not the direction, because you just pointed me in that direction. You sent me across the highway. It's actually this way. So if you want to follow me, I'm going in the right direction now. And then she goes, oh my God. She starts yelling at the cops. She's like, oh my God, you guys are the cops. How are you pointing this poor girl in the wrong direction? Because she was an older lady.
Yeah.
And she was like, how are you pointing this young girl in the wrong direction? And the cops,
she's all alone.
Yeah, the cops were frazzled. And then
fair.
I made it to the train. And I made it home.
Yeah, it was just on a train. It was just a train.
It was
an hour later than the train she was supposed to get.
It was so much later, and I made it to the city, and then Marty took my car and picked me up at Penn Station, so I didn't have to go to Jersey, because he was like, clearly, you're not navigating yourself in a way that will get you here in a peaceful.
You're not great with directions.
It's not that I'm not great with. Okay, I'm not great with directions. But more so, none of this had to do with directions. It's more like it was just, I should have just stayed.
It was chaos.
I should have stayed at the train station. But because I was getting, I should have stayed with Fran. Yes. Everybody learns their lessons. Airports, train stations, they should stay with Fran. I strayed from the group, which I'll never do again. And I should have stayed at the train station, but I was being heckled by a Mets fan.
Yeah.
And I'm a Mets fan, but this lady was out of control. I didn't know what was going to happen next to me. I'm alone. I was like, am I going to throw hands with this 65-year-old dad?
Yeah.
I truly was like, I think me and her are about to punch each other in the face. I called her old. I didn't mean to. I just did.
The Mets won.
And you would have had
She's like, come on, the Mets won. I was like, oh my God.
You would have had even more of a journey, too, if you like got on the train or somewhere else or got an Uber from Penn Station, too, because there was a Roger Waters concert at MSG last night. So when I got off the train at Penn Station, oh, there were some rowdy adults running around outside 8th Ave, 7th Ave. They were having a great time. The concert had like just ended. Everybody was pouring out. Everybody's running, screaming to get their trains. There's a line of girls lined up, camping out for Harry Styles the next night. They're all intense.
No.
Like, they're like, this is chaos.
Madness. I told Marty, don't even park in front of Penn Station. Park 3 blocks down. Because I can't afford to not be able to find you outside the train station because I'm going to lose my mind.
I walked out of Penn Station on the 8th Ave side and I looked at this line of girls and, you know, I had that time in my life where I wanted to do that. And
I did
sleep
on the
That's
sidewalk?
No, insanity.
I did it. No,
you slept on the sidewalk?
No. I just showed up really, really early in the morning for a Justin Bieber Today show.
That's
concert
different. For a Today or
Today's
morning
show's
show.
formal.
Morning show is different. You actually do have to get there early.
Yeah.
When you have a ticket, like
this was like I stood on the sidewalk and just looked down the street for a solid 3 minutes, just looking at what I was seeing, and I'm like, oh my god.
What's the average age of these girls? Like
they're young. It's young.
Like what parents are letting their kids just sleep on?
I know there were some parents, you know, in the miss some places, but it's mostly young girls.
Out of all the areas, like I would never sleep on.
No,
8th
I know. And it's like I was like looking at them thinking, God, they're lined up now. When is the show tomorrow? And it's just,
it's not.
I guess it's crazy because, you know, Rhea and I did do the pit for Harry Styles, and so we've experienced it. But we did it where we showed up, you know, when the gates opened, and yes, we weren't the number 4 person in there, but
we were really close.
The difference from being up against the barricade and being where we stood was
also
10 feet. Maybe.
How was the stage?
And we could have pushed our way into the front if we wanted to.
You know, like 10 feet maybe. And the difference between that is hours and hours and hours.
Wait, when you went, how was the stage set up? Was it just like, because when we went to the Harry Styles in LA, you know how it was just like one stage?
No,
it was in the middle.
No, this was set up like his show's still set up.
Okay, yeah, because right now the stage is so long.
Yeah.
That you can pretty much be anywhere, and there's like only like 5 rows of people like standing.
There's a lot of empty space in the pit, which is why I don't understand why people are doing this. Because
it doesn't make sense.
Truly, you'll be completely fine. Like me and Fran showed up, we were like, wait, this is the amount of space we have.
Also, if
we thought we were like, oh well, we're not camping out, so I guess we're gonna be fucked. And then we showed up and we were like, oh my god, this is amazing. We're so close.
If you're that cutthroat that you're gonna sleep on the sidewalk, I would just be like, show up and fight your way to the front, like on the day. You could easily just get.
I said to Fran, you could push your way.
You could push your way.
No, when you're there, yes.
That's what I'm saying.
I guess, but your head will be taken off. I'm not even kidding. It's.
There's always a way.
There's these girls.
You say like, oh, I know someone. Like, my friends are in the front.
No, that doesn't work.
Maybe not to get to the front row.
Believe me, that does not work. I've been on the other side of that, where somebody has tried to push past me when I've been in that position, and I'm like, absolutely, yeah, you can. You throw an elbow. You say, absolutely not. And you're like, whoa.
I don't know.
I've believe me, I've done it plenty of times.
I saw, like, when I went the other night, it didn't look that rowdy. Like, when I went to the Tyler, the Creator concert, I was, like, fighting for my life in the pit.
Okay,
the Harry Styles concert, like,
very different vibes.
No, I know, that's what I'm saying. So I'm like, it didn't look like. I feel like you could just kind of walk through the crowd.
No, if you're like they give out numbers. They put when you line up, like people are given numbers. Like they have this whole system where they try and keep it as civilized as possible.
Do you think Harry knows like the people that are in the very front have to be like the most insane people because
of course
they're here, like
100%, and a lot of it's the same people.
I've seen people who are going like every night.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A lot of it's the same people, so he probably knows them all pretty well actually at this point.
Do you know where your seats are? You're going next week.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm not.
You're not
their seat is in a seat. Yeah.
Oh shit! I gotta try to go.
Yeah. September 7th.
Yeah.
When's his last show at MSG?
The 21st, I think.
If he does anything crazy tonight, I'm gonna be mad because I was deciding between Sunday or tonight. So if he brings out like a guest tonight.
No,
I'll be like
always worried about a guest.
He's always worried about the special guest.
Number one,
I don't want to
it's
miss it. I have huge FOMO.
It's so wild to me. It's like the concern is not for actually seeing the artist. It's for who could they potentially be bringing out.
He hasn't brought anybody out.
I know.
That's why I'm like, if he does tonight.
I mean, that it is funny that is actually every concert you've gone to and you talked about. That's been like your biggest concern.
I fantasize about any concert I go to. I'm like, who could they bring out?
I mean, it's instead of just being excited to see the person you're
even when
going
I
to
see
see.
John Mayer,
bougie
I'm
bitch.
It's like, Paul McCartney. Like, I guess that's cool and all, but who could he be bringing out? Like,
Always want more.
Always wanted more.
Yeah.
Oh,
Beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah. Yep.
Does that make sense in this context?
Yep.
Beggars can't be choosers.
I think it does.
Yeah. Yep.
I'll say yes.
Yeah, sure. Okay, let's get into the rest of today's episode.
Yeah, let's do
We're going to
it.
be talking
What
about.
an intro that was.
It was a
Yeah.
lot. For a second, I forgot we were a pop culture podcast.
I just moved my
I thought we were
haircut
just chatting.
appointment.
Oh, good. Thank God. We were really, really worried about your fucking haircut appointment. I'm sorry.
That came off way more aggressive than you meant it to.
Whenever I hope everyone see one of those things. Oh, here's another.
Yeah.
Here's another warning. Whenever I joking or like talk to Noah about that, I can't even talk. Whenever I talk to Noah in a very aggressive manner, I'm joking.
I almost cut a clip.
You almost can't see.
We will repeat this again. Noah was not fired.
Not fired.
yeah.
And also, when I tell Noah he's stupid and to shut up and whatever, he laughs. I get a good laugh out of him. So
Yeah.
I know when I say it, he's going to laugh, and I like to make people laugh. So, by the way, nobody cry that I'm mean to Noah.
Just
all right, Noah?
Seeing
You
on the
fucking
internet,
freak.
People really did think that.
on the internet, more and more people think that you've
My
been
own,
fired
like,
or you
family
quit or
members
you're
thought.
gone.
Yeah, people were texting you last night, like, heard the rumors of you quitting were untrue. Like, who said you were quitting ever?
I hate
People
to say
just ran with
internet.
that.
I hate to say I told you so, but putting just producer
I guess, but like,
was clearly misleading.
yeah, I don't know. I wish we would have just had kept it. That would have been great.
Yeah.
Like,
People probably would have put 2 and 2 together when you just continued to be on this show.
or it's like maybe
We would
he has to do it for a few weeks.
We would have had to actually kick you off the show for a while
That
for people
would've
to
been-
believe it.
Guys, imagine if we should have done that.
Oh yeah, now it's like, oh, imagine
Like,
I
I
just
just-
didn't have to work for 3 weeks.
No, but if I just didn't wasn't present, and then people like, oh, mate, something's going on.
No, they probably would have, but you're here talking,
Yeah.
and you're still here. So, all right, now let's get into the topics.
I zoned out. Okay, let's get into the topics. We're going to be talking about Leonardo DiCaprio and Camila Morrone officially broke up. Lea Michele did an interview where she talks about being hard to work with, and also she can't read. And Erika Jayne was cleared. She's found not guilty. Shocking events.
Yeah.
We also have a great interview with Stephen Colletti talking all things at Laguna Beach. So let's get into it. Starting off with Leonardo DiCaprio and Camila Morrone. Make the most of your weekend this weekend with Slick frozen ice pops. I know I have them stocked up in my fridge. My mom absolutely loves them. It's almost a problem, but it's not because they are so good. They're so delicious, and they each have 8% alcohol in each pop. They have the agave margaritas. They have the rum daiquiris. They also have the new release, which is the whiskey highballs. Like I said, each pop contains 8% alcohol, and it's all natural flavors with premium spirits. They're very convenient to throw in a cooler, throw in a freezer, take it on a boat, wherever you want to go. These Slick frozen ice pops have your back, and it's a perfect way to get that little buzz going. So head to Slick, that's SLIQ, spiritedice.com to snag a pack of Slick, or 2 or 10, however many packs you want. Stock your freezer for your next party. Make sure you use promo code SlickChicks2 to get 10% off your order as well. This ad has been brought to you by 21 Holdings LLC in West Chicago, Illinois. You must be 21 and up to purchase and consume. Please drink responsibly. So Leonardo DiCaprio and Camila Morrone have officially broken up because Camila Morrone turned 25 in June, and we all know Leonardo DiCaprio cannot date anybody over the age of 25.
Yeah, I know we sort of touched on this on Wednesday because the Daily Mail headline came out as we were recording, but there's just been some more talk about it in the last couple of days, and the memes have been absolutely incredible, so we're going to talk about it a little bit more. But that really has been the focus. The memes, the jokes. It's just like one of my favorite ones that I saw was it was the picture of Kate Winslet in the Titanic and then the old lady from the Titanic. And it was like Leo's girlfriends when they're 24 and it's Kate Winslet. Leo's girlfriends when they're 25. They're the old lady.
They're very funny. You know what I'm most upset about? That I'm now too old to date Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
Like, not that I was ever going to.
Yeah, you've aged out.
But I just have aged out of Leonardo DiCaprio's range.
It is absolutely ridiculous. You know,
can we just stop pretending that Leonardo DiCaprio is still like Leonardo DiCaprio? I keep seeing those. Like Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
We had this conversation. Leonardo DiCaprio.
He's not 2005.
He's not what he once was. He's not at all. He's not really aging
like Brad Pitt
as well as
he's going to have to start aging. I mean, he's going to have to start dating older girls.
Like, yes, it's Leonardo DiCaprio, and Leonardo DiCaprio in his prime is the best of the best.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt, who is a lot older than Leonardo DiCaprio, is aging a bit better.
He just...
thoughts?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I do agree with you. Leo just has this aura, I feel like.
I love his voice.
Yeah.
And somebody actually disagreed with me on that. Was that you? Where I said I love Leonardo DiCaprio's voice.
I did a little bit,
and you said that's actually the one thing that you don't like about him?
Yeah, it's just like a little, it's not so... It has a different tone to it. In the movies, sometimes it makes sense, but...
I think it's because in Wolf of Wall Street...
Yeah.
People are going to call me toxic for this. That I like the way he sounds in Wolf of Wall Street. People are going to be like, oh, classic Rhea, she likes Wolf of Wall Street. It's a good movie. Everybody likes that movie. I like the way he's talking in that movie.
Yeah. Because he has an accent you're familiar with.
Is that what it is?
Probably.
God.
Feels like home. Just a yelling New York accent.
Just like the smell of cigarettes.
Yeah. It's just...
I didn't even put that together.
Of all the movies you could have named where you love his voice, that's the one. And he's Jordan Belfort.
God.
No, I feel like, I don't know, the voice, I don't know why this sounds stupid because obviously people's voices are the same as once you kind of hit maturity. They don't change that much.
Like as you get older, they get a little deeper.
Yeah.
Are you going to say that his voice is too
like
girly?
His voice matched him when he was 25 and now I feel like it doesn't as
You
much.
think his voice sounds like a young boy?
Yes.
And he's a man?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I actually see your point.
I can't really even think of his like normal talking voice. It's
yeah.
always, like, a
that's
movie
kind
character.
of how I see it.
It's kind of more soft.
It is soft. But now the thing is, there's a lot
climate
of rumors he's been seen around with Gigi Hadid.
She's older than 25.
She's
I saw people
27.
saying Kaya Gerber.
Oh my God.
But it's also like, I get it, but if you're just a beautiful 21-year-old model out there and Leo comes knocking, don't answer the door. It's past.
The thing is, they're gonna, Fran.
It's
if they're single, if you're a single 21-year-old
you're telling me if Leonardo
girl,
DiCaprio walked in here right now and said,
I just don't think
"Hey, Fran."
Fran's a taken lady.
I just don't
saying.
think it's appropriate anymore.
What, the age gap?
Yeah, just not that it ever was, but like it just feels ickier as he gets older.
I think the more over 20, the more 25-year-old girlfriends he breaks up with, it gets ickier.
Yeah.
Like I think if this was a few girlfriends ago, people wouldn't really be like blinking an eye.
Yeah.
But
That
now
Hannah Montana one was so funny. Where she's saying goodbye. It's like when his girlfriend's brain.
But now that it's such a trend that he legitimately has not dated anybody over the age of 25. Yeah, it's kind of just alarming. It's like, really, like you really. That's kind of creepy.
All right, I forgot that actually last night I did take a screenshot of this, of the graph where, let's see, starting in 2000, from 99 to 04, he dated Gisele Bündchen. She was 18 to 23, and he was 24 to 29, so he was only a few years older, not crazy. But that's what I'm saying. It wasn't crazy then because he was younger, and
now as he gets older,
yes, the lyric,
it is. It's from
the Jake Gyllenhaal lyric too. The girls. Oh, was that?
No, it's a line from Dazed and Confused, or
stays the same.
You know what I like about high school girls? I get older.
They
stay the same.
Yes, that was Giselle. Bar Raffaelli was 05 to 2010, where she was 20 to 25, and then that ended at 25. Blake Lively popped in there 2011. She was 23. Erin Heatherton, 2012. She was 22. Tony Garn, 13 and 2013, 2014, she was 20, 21. Kelly Warbach, 2015, she was 25. Nina Ogdal, 2016, 2017, 24, and 25. And then been with Camila since 2018 when she was 20, and now she is 25. So it's like most
the man
of them
is
have been
capable of settling down.
Yeah, and it's not like it would be a lot. It would be a lot more incriminating if all of these beautiful ladies dated him till they were 25. But it's like a lot. Sometimes they didn't even get that far. Most of them.
Yeah, I think he liked Camila a lot.
Yeah, it's crazy. It is really. It's nuts, he's apparently been partying big time out in the scene with the guys in New York.
Imagine being Camila and thinking like, I might be the one to marry Leonardo DiCaprio, right? Because they've been together. This is like his longest relationship.
Giselle Bündchen, they were together 5 years, according to that graph. I don't know I don't even know who made this, but 99 to 2004. And Bar Raffaele he was with for 5 years after that. 2005, 2010.
Okay, so he just
yeah, it's just can't tie him down. We never should have thought that he would.
Nope,
because
maybe they'll get back.
Like that would be the case. I don't know. It's like now it's like
she has a time machine.
Gigi Hadid's that's also another interesting thing. But apparently they've been friends for a long time.
Yeah, I'm sure they're friends.
Yeah,
we're not gonna be friends.
Yeah. I'm sure Leonardo DiCaprio and Gigi Hadid are besties.
Yeah, so. I don't know. That's another one. Another one bites the dust. I saw some ridiculous Page 6 article that was like Nina Ogdal may be referencing ex Leo because she posted a story. It was just her, and it's like she just wrote like when he texts you with a heart. And I'm looking at this article. I'm like, why would they insinuate that? And then like 3 lines in, it says, now it could be that she's just talking about her boyfriend, Logan Paul.
Yeah, she's dating Logan Paul.
Oh, yeah. No, that's probably what it is.
Right.
But it was just funny because there's like 3 paragraphs. Three paragraphs down, it was like, now she could be insinuating that this is her boyfriend. No, crazy that you would just think it was her boyfriend.
Can you believe Logan Paul and Nina Ogdal are dating?
Yeah, it is wild. Saw those pictures of them holding hands walking around town recently.
I don't hate Logan Paul, so good for him.
Yeah, I feel like it's not that crazy.
No, I would see him more with like a influencer type of person, but he said he grew out of that.
Yeah.
So Lea Michele did an interview and she addressed the rumors that she's hard to work with, and she also addressed the rumors that she can't read, and I still believe both of those rumors. I believe that she's hard to work with and I believe that she can't read because her answers did not suffice, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think she's doing a lot of damage control, which makes sense. I've read on Dumas and things like that she's been overly nice and things while practicing for Funny Girl and going through rehearsals and all those things, which that's nice that she's aware of it now. Hopefully all of these things did actually help her realize that that's what was going on. But yes, when you have quotes like this is in the New York Times, this article was written, they wrote, online hatred of her can verge on gleeful, and she fears that if she responds to criticism or a bizarre rumor that she is illiterate, it will fuel the fire. Which, that does suck, though, because she's probably asked about it all the time, and then she's like, God, if I answer this, it's going to be what everybody talks about, and here we are talking about it. So she said, I went to Glee every single day. I knew my lines every single day, and then there's a rumor online that I can't read or write. It's sad. It really is. I think often if I were a man, a lot of this wouldn't be the case.
Shut up.
Didn't need to play that card, but
Shut up. I mean, this is the thing. To me, that's somebody who can't make a joke about themselves.
Right.
Because if there was a rumor that you couldn't read on the internet, that is so utterly ridiculous. Wouldn't you be like,
but we know how the internet works. And you know that there are people who definitely believe that.
I believe it.
No, I believe it. No, I'm just saying
people can't actually decipher.
Right, but
they see that as, they're like that, oh my gosh, Lea Michele can't read or write. And then they take that as fact.
Right. But that is true. Some people take facts on the internet when a lot of stuff is not true.
Yeah.
But there's not that many rumors about people not being able to read.
But it's more just like like if she made a joke about herself and was like, yeah, I definitely can't read, then I think more people would be like, oh, haha, she definitely can read.
Yeah.
But I think she takes herself very seriously. And so I think that's what fuels it even more. And not to say that you need to make a joke about everything to be able to defend yourself, because you could just defend yourself by saying like, no, I obviously can read. She doesn't think it's that funny apparently. No. But that it doesn't do anything for me. It still makes me not really like Lea Michele.
No, and I just wish that in these positions, like, just
don't pull the if I was a man, nobody would be making
or just
comments about me not being able to read, because there are plenty of guys they talk about not being able to read.
There's
50 Cent.
Conspiracy theories about everyone.
Yeah.
But I just think sometimes it would go better for if you just like humble yourself, own up to what happened, say, you know, I definitely made some mistakes and I wish I could take those back. But instead, when she's kind of asked about the controversy over the last couple years, and when the people were talking about how she was on Glee and her cast members are coming out talking about how difficult she was to work with, all these things, it wasn't like, oh yeah, like I want to acknowledge those things. She said, I have an edge to me. I work really hard. I leave no room for mistakes. That level of perfectionism, or that pressure of perfectionism, left me with a lot of blind spots. That's fine. I think that is fair. I do think sometimes when you're a perfectionist, you can disregard other people's feelings because you're just, all you care about is being the best you can be. Mm-hmm. And that can totally leave you with blind spots. But it's like, you can say that, but then also add on, you know, yeah, I definitely mistreated some people and could have been better, and I wasn't. So it's like, it's still not totally acknowledging everything that went down. She said that she thinks the psychology of that comes from her days as a child actress on Broadway, where she said the expectation to perform at a consistently high level often put her in a semi-robotic state.
Here's the thing. I don't really love Lea Michele for our own personal reasons.
Right. How many times can we tell the story?
Right, yes, but we get new listeners all the time.
Yeah.
So
canceled in our face.
She canceled right in our face. She was standing 5 feet away from us.
Yeah.
Besides the point.
An interview.
Yep. I don't really care about when people are like so-called divas to work with, though. Like I don't think that's crazy of a thing. Like if you're a perfectionist and you like what you like, okay. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure she's not the most evil person on earth. Like,
but if you're trying to like get people fired and shit,
right, that's evil. There's a difference. I think there's a difference between you're a really hard worker and you're a perfectionist and you like everything done the way you like it, versus like you are actually a piece of shit, evil human who tries to get people fired and is mean, genuinely goes out of your way to like be maliciously mean to people. I think there's a difference. But like when someone says someone is hard to work with because they're just such a perfectionist, I'm like, well, what's the problem with that? You know what I mean? Unless you're actually going out of your way to be mean to people.
Yeah, I don't know. I think because it wasn't just one person, right? Or it wasn't two people who talked about Lea Michele like that.
I think Lea Michele is a mean person. Yeah, like, that's why I don't think her answers
I know.
Are making up for it, because for her to say she's a perfectionist, blah, blah, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
But when you're an actual mean person, because you could have someone be a perfectionist and really hardworking and whatever, but at the end of the day, they say thank you to everybody and go out of their way to be nice to everybody around them, even if in between all that they're being a perfectionist.
Yeah, you have to be self-aware. Like if you're a perfectionist, you got to know that you're like that, and
then say, you know, I'm sorry, I'm being a perfectionist. Thank you.
Yeah.
But this is how I like it done.
This is how I need it to be done.
She just seems like she's just not nice.
Yeah, let's not forget when this all happened, you know, a couple of years ago, Heather Morris did tweet that she was very unpleasant to work with on Glee. And she said, for Lea to treat others with the disrespect that she did for as long as she did, I believe she should be called out. So it's like there's times when you have to acknowledge what happened. And you can say that she has acknowledged it or tried to. And I do think, you know, it's something that took on a life of its own. And she apologized for that behavior when it all happened. But now, when you have taken on a new role, you're back on Broadway, Funny Girl's going to be huge. Tickets are selling out like crazy. People are excited. You got to continue to just be self-aware and own up to things you did.
It's almost like Lea Michele thinks she's the first actress ever to work hard. Because think about how many other actors and actresses out there take their craft so seriously and they live and die by it and they want to be the best of the best. and everyone acknowledges that they're perfectionists and hardworking.
Christian Bale.
But then at the end of the day, nobody's saying, like, have you heard how hard these... Some people you hear that they're hard to work with because you hear stories and they're like, oh, that's mean. Like, there's a difference. So for her to be like, there's blind spots because I'm just a perfectionist, is like...
Right, my blind spot's being an asshole.
Yeah, like, that's exactly that. So basically you're saying every actor, actress...
Yeah,
doesn't work as hard as you.
Like on Top Gun, that clip came out of him like yelling like at everyone.
Yeah, whatever, but then nobody's saying Tom Cruise is so hard to work with.
We love working with him.
Exactly, because it just, I think Lea Michele is so full of herself.
Yeah, there's just and like you said, there is a diva stigma that sometimes I think people unfortunately get. And it's not deserved because they take that as in a negative way when it's not. It's used in a negative way when it's really just like, no, they're working hard. Like they want what they want. They're working hard, and it's the same kind of thing. Like Tom Cruise gets what he wants. He asks what he wants. People aren't like, oh my God, Tom Cruise diva. Like, it's like, no, Tom Cruise, he's working. But Liam, I just wish that there were times when you just acknowledge. Don't just say, oh, I just have blind spots.
I just work hard.
I just have blind spots. So, I don't know. It's Funny Girl is good with her as the lead is going to be a massive success. People are going to go see that show 100%. She is massively talented. So,
but she still can't read.
Yeah. Yes. Big development for Erika Jayne. It looks like one case, I don't know, this stuff is so confusing to me when it gets down to like the actual nitty gritty, and there are great Bravo lawyer accounts that break this down, but I feel like when I'm watching Beverly Hills, or Erika's always like, I've got 50 million lawsuits going on, like there's so many different ones, so it's like, oh, how many are still going on, how many are not? But there was a quote unquote big win for Erika this week because a tentative court ruling suggests that she had no knowledge of alleged financial crimes by her estranged husband, Tom Girardi. There's also another article that Tom had bought the judge, the female judge that he was with, or bought her a condo or something that Erika did not know about. So the court concludes that the plaintiff suing Erika for aiding and abetting her estranged husband in alleged fraud failed to prove that the star had any knowledge of the alleged crimes. Documents obtained by people through Erika's lawyer state that no evidence exists to support an aiding and abetting claim against Ms. Girardi, which reinforces the propriety of summary judgment. As the ruling is tentative, a final status conference for Erika's judgment is scheduled for Friday. People reached out to the plaintiff's lawyer for comment on the tentative ruling, but received no response. So in this case, this is the thing, like, it's all lawyer talk, right? When it comes down to aiding and abetting, they can't find any physical evidence to prove that in a court of law. Which does make sense. It'd be pretty hard, I think, to actually find hardcore evidence of that, which I'm sure Erika Jayne has been banking on.
Exactly. You could hear it from word of mouth, though.
Totally. She could hear whispers or phone conversations or things like that, but to actually try her on these charges, I don't think they can do.
Right. I think she had her suspicions. She may have heard a couple phone calls, heard a couple conversations, kept to herself because she's rich.
Right.
And her husband was giving her money. And she said, why am I gonna jeopardize my lovely life by opening up my mouth? I'm gonna get this money, honey.
She posted a screenshot of the Page 6 article that said Erika Jayne scorns win in $5 million fraud lawsuit. Court finds no evidence of wrongdoing. And she wrote, thank you to my friends that have stood beside me. All I asked for was time and understanding. Link in my stories. So she was making sure everybody was reading that article. But like I said, there are other cases. People also wrote, this news comes after Erika was named in a handful of lawsuits alongside her estranged husband for alleged embezzlement. However, there's been no public proof linking Erika directly to the alleged wrongdoings. So, like you said, this is one of, I think, many cases that she has been named in. But in this situation, $5 million $5 million fraud case. No link can be made. So
now,
she's definitely very happy.
Let me ask you both a question, and more, Noah, I'm looking for your answer because I feel like I know what Fran's answer is going to be. Say you had a very wealthy, and now I'm talking wealthy, rich,
Okay.
significant other. You're married, okay? Super wealthy. You're living the fucking life. You
like
can do whatever
family.
You want. No, you like
no,
them.
I'm saying like, is her family wealthy or she's like independently?
She's independently wealthy,
Yeah.
and you get money from her. She gives you anything you want in the entire world. What?
Do I have a job?
No. You can do whatever you want. Okay? You can live your life. Truly, you are one of the richest people. You can do whatever you want.
Do we have a prenup?
I don't know if that matters. We'll decide after. And you are hearing suspicious conversations, right? And you're hearing rumblings that they may be up to illegal activity that is giving them this money.
Mm-hmm.
Are you asking any questions, or are you keeping your mouth shut because you're living the life? You may not even like this person. You may be living a totally separate life from them, but you are very, very, very comfortable.
Noah's ignoring that 100%.
Well, I think
that's why I asked you both, because I know you're going to say you would ask.
No, but if you know, if you don't know, then you can't get like legally.
Yeah,
I don't know anything.
That well, here's Erika Jayne saying I don't know anything because
she was like,
working to her advantage.
You know that series on Netflix, like Untold?
Yeah,
it's about sports. I just watched last night the one on the referee who was illegally.
Yeah.
And his wife said that she went into his room and like found a huge wad of cash in his jacket and just like put it back and didn't ask questions because she didn't want to know.
Yeah.
And then eventually got caught.
Sometimes that's for, like you said, it's for your own self-protection.
Yeah.
I have a problem with just needing answers.
Same.
Like it would drive me insane.
Same.
I'm just neurotic like that,
Yep.
where if I even saw a hint of something, I'd be like, whoa, what does that mean? What does that mean? What does it mean for us? What does it mean? Like, I'm nuts.
No,
like, I would not be able to.
Ask. I think I'm the same way.
I would not be able to handle the unknown. It would drive me insane.
Same. Especially if I'm in love.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm in love with this person, I need to know everything about you and
it would drive me
every
insane.
detail.
Especially if I got hit with like a honey, don't ask questions. I'd be like, well, what do you mean
we're in this relationship together? Yes.
It would be more about the principle of you're not going to tell me that you're doing this.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
Like,
so what else are you hiding?
Yeah.
Are you cheating?
Yeah.
They just lead. There's so many other questions.
Yeah.
Which
now in this case, Tom was an old man.
That's why I'm saying Erika and Tom were not in love. They didn't have a real relationship, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They were not. It wasn't a true relationship.
It was like an agreement.
It was like, okay, we got married and now we're living totally separate lives. And so I don't even fucking care what this guy does. Yeah. I don't even care what this guy does.
Let's say that they told you, and then what would you do with that information?
Keep my mouth shut.
You wouldn't go to the police?
No.
So
I wouldn't go to the police, but I would tell them they should stop.
But then let's say that he gets caught and like a year later or something. Are you saying I didn't know anything? Or
no, unfortunately, in that situation, you're going down too.
I'm
you're
probably going to go down.
You're Teresa Giudice. Like, you're also going down.
But as long as all he did was like verbally tell you.
No, it's still very hard to prove.
Yeah.
In a court of law, unless Teresa Giudice is different because her like signatures was on.
Right.
Don't sign anything.
Yeah, no, like
don't text about it.
I wouldn't. I'm not a snitch. I'm not gonna go rat my husband out to the cops. Yeah, but I'm not gonna be happy with him.
You don't know how far the investigation's going. Maybe your house has been bugged.
What about if your husband's like Bernie Madoff? You're not gonna rat him out.
I may ask him for a divorce.
Yeah.
I may say, if you're so capable of hiding all this from me, you are hiding other things, and I don't know if I want to be in this relationship.
You should say it's fine, then ask for a divorce. Get money in the divorce before he gets caught.
Erika filed for divorce before all this shit happens.
Oh, I didn't know.
Right, yeah. So that's what I'm saying.
That's smart.
I think I'd be like.
So it was like that's why people thought that she knew something.
I'm not gonna tell on you, but I'm gonna do. I don't think we should be together.
Blackmail him.
Here's the thing. I think we're in a situation where I still believe that Erika had an inkling of something happening, and
which is why she divorced him.
She turned a blind eye, and now she can get away with it because there's no hard physical proof.
Right. I'm sure with her closest friends, she probably says, "Yeah, I knew something."
You
need to tell somebody that you knew something.
And you need very concrete proof to convince a jury that you do know something.
If a friend of a friend says, Erika told me she knew something,
it doesn't do anything. Or if you just have people on the witness stand who say, she seemed like maybe she knew something. Like that's not going to work.
Then you wouldn't get nearly you wouldn't get as much trouble as he is in. So
No. I mean, Teresa Giudice didn't get as much trouble as Joe.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So what would
still went to jail?
But for how long? How long do you go to jail if you just knew your husband was doing illegal things?
I mean, it's
case by case.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's not a standard. It depends on what the charges are.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hopefully none of us get into any of that.
No, definitely not. But I think I have a feeling we're going to see a really righteous Erika Jayne on incoming Real Housewives of Beverly Hills another season. Obviously, they're done with filming this season, but I don't think they filmed the reunion yet. So that'll be a big moment for her to be able to say, "I told you all."
I might get in trouble for not doing my jury duty because I still have been ignoring those.
You should check. You should look into that.
You should get into that. Yeah.
We are getting into a little bit of chillier weather. We may need a good hoodie to wear. The Rhoback ladies hoodies are so soft, stretchy. They're some of the best hoodies in the game. I love these hoodies. The colors are great. They're so comfortable, and they're the perfect transition sweatshirt, season transition sweatshirt as it starts to get a little chillier. If you still get a hot day that gets a little colder, it's great. Or, one of those random chilly days in the fall. They are so comfortable. I really love my Rhoback hoodies. I also really love the Rhoback performance tees. The ladies' tees are great. I wear them to work out all the time. And for the men in your life, they have some amazing products. The performance polos are great, quarter zips, great material, fun print designs. They have truly the best fitting polo. They're really easy to wash. The collar stays. They're made with moisture wicking performance fabric, and they're tagless, so they never itch. Rhoback's products are really, really great. I highly recommend checking them out. You can use the code CHICKS on Rhoback.com for 20% off your first order of performance hoodies, polos, Q-zips, and tees. That's spelled RHOBACK.com for 20% off with the code CHICKS.
All right, everyone, we are here with a very special guest. We are joined by Stephen Colletti. Thank you for joining us. New podcast, Back to the Beach, talking all things Laguna Beach, which is just great for us fans out there that love to reminisce and get the juicy inside scoop to really what was happening during those days. Welcome back to the show, Stephen.
Thank you. It's good to be here, guys. Thanks for having me on. And I'm glad to hear that you're enjoying the podcast because, we didn't know, we thought some people would be interested, but we were hoping that people would be able to enjoy it, kind of have another experience with maybe what they watched back in the day. But it's been so many years. So I also feel like so much TV has come between now and then. It's like now and then where it's like, are they really going to be interested in listening to us tell the story of our high school life in 18 years ago? Well, I guess so.
They are interested because it was such a unique experience for you guys, I
think because it was one of the first shows like that that so many fans rewatch, and I think so many fans now also look at what's on reality TV now and they think like, oh God, I wish we could just go back to the Laguna Beach days.
Right.
It's so much better. So I think people do have that feeling of like still being so connected to that show.
Yeah, there was this early on, I think I've always, even when the show first came out, it felt like, no one's actually going to watch this thing, right? So it's fine. MTV is going to throw some parties for us. Maybe we'll get a couple hotel suites and it'll be on their dime. We're pulling one over them, right? Little did we know. But yeah, it's funny that even still going through the episodes and we enjoy kind of picking apart, what is totally real and what is really kind of edited. But you do see with these days in reality TV, I can't even really watch reality TV because to me it seems so fake. Yeah. And of course I had this crash course that is, shocking in its own way. So maybe there's that where it's kind of painful to watch in a way. But there's still, these days it's just a lot of it is, I feel like really, really manufactured. And I think people are wise to it now. So I can understand the appeal of something that was more nostalgic and pure, right? Innocent.
Yep.
Exactly.
Definitely.
And I feel like what's funny is when you watch back, it feels like you guys were so much older than you really were.
Yes.
So to hear that you guys were, and to know that you guys were in high school, when we were watching it, we were like, wow, these are full grown adults. But then when you get older and you look back and you're like, oh my God, I can't imagine if my however old self was being filmed on TV. You guys are drinking, you're partying, and it's just the world knows about it and can see it.
I mean, were you guys partying in high school?
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm thinking about if I had cameras on me, how much trouble I would have been in.
Yeah, and we do discuss that a lot. I think, I don't know. We knew that. Well, look, it's not discussed, of course, on camera that we're drinking or anything, but it's pretty obvious. It's just kind of a given. But yeah, Kristen talks a lot about like she was always really nervous of her dad's reaction to it. I'm the third child for my parents, so I think at that point they're like, all right, just get yourself to college.
Same.
Good to go. But yeah, Kristen, I remember, was really worried about a lot of stuff, and thankfully, parents, I think, they're strict. It's our senior year. At that point, you kind of have a little bit of a longer leash. But yeah, there were a couple things where it was my parents like, oh, so that's what you were doing that night. And, it's like, they know we're going down to Cabo. It's like, all right, well, we know you're not going to just go down there and sit on the beach and tan for a couple of days. We know what's going to happen. So.
Yeah, you turned out all right, though.
I mean, I hope so. I think we're still trying to figure this out in the podcast, right? We'll see at the end of it. It remains to be seen.
I loved hearing you guys talk kind of how it almost seemed like Kristen needed a little bit more convincing to do this. That maybe you had this idea years ago, because the Rewatch podcast is very in right now. Everyone's doing it. It's super popular. Mm-hmm. And what did it take to finally get her to agree to do this?
It's funny. It almost really actually didn't happen at all. And we haven't even really told the story, but we just briefly talked about it. And again, for years I had been thinking about it, wanting to do it. And with really the only intention being like, I just want to know what's in those episodes. I don't remember much. I totally locked them away. There was no I had no real bone to pick or anything. I knew that there were certain moments, like, of course, like with Cabo and stuff, we're like, oh, this is going to be tough to watch. So I knew I had to sign up for that, but I was okay with it. I'm so much older now, and you're so, less emotionally attached to that time in your life where you can really laugh and appreciate like, oh my gosh, I've come so far, thankfully, and I'm still here, Yeah. So I think in talking about it with Kristen, we briefly touched on it, and she seemed interested in the idea. She was like, well, I do a podcast with you. It could be really fun. And I was like, cool. And then it was like, honestly, that was in passing. And then it wasn't until almost like a year later, and a COVID canceled trip to Australia to promote Everyone Is Doing Great. I was like, what am I going to do for the next few weeks? And it was just one of the first things on the list where I was like, let's just try to make this happen right now. Maybe this is a good time. So I hit up Kristen, and she was like, I don't know. I kind of got a lot of things going on right now. And I was like, yeah, I understand. Like, I do want to keep it limited, though. We don't want to go into it too far. She's like, yeah, I'm just kind of really busy right now. And then I actually called her like an hour or so later to literally just kind of catch up. And I already kind of accepted that, all right, she can't do it right now. Let's just have a little chat. And I just want to see how she was doing, right? And we started talking about the podcast right away. And she was like, I just, maybe if it's like really only something limited. And I was like, oh, wait, so she does want to do it. I'm like, okay. So we kind of like from there continue to kind of chat it out and say, yeah, let's just, we want to get in, be bold, get out. We're not trying to do 200 episodes of this podcast. And we'll just see how it goes. So from there, we got on the same page and found a partner in Dear Media that was on the same page. And I know she's mentioned it, and I am, also very happy that we've done it. It's been a really fun experience being able to do it. So
yeah, thankfully there's not that many episodes of Laguna Beach. Right, is the plus side. Like, we just had some of the cast of Boy Meets World on our show, and they're doing a rewatch pod. And Danielle Fishel was like, well, there's like 200 plus episodes to watch, which is crazy when you have that many seasons. But Laguna Beach really just had that. It was a short amount of time. It hit really hard, and everyone loved it. It
went right into the hills after that. And I think with you and Kristen, obviously there's always going to be that draw there where people are holding on to that, and they're like, oh, we want to watch them interact. And listen, I don't know exactly what happened. You just see headlines and you're like, oh, it's been revealed that they shared a kiss before the podcast and whatever it is. And you're like trying to gather all this information, but this may be a weird question and you don't need to answer it, whatever. I don't even know if it's that weird. But did you feel like, okay, in order for us to do this podcast, we need to make sure there's nothing romantic going on here. There's going to be no fling that's happening, so we could just focus on this work.
No, we've been buddies. You know, our time came back in 2004,
Yeah.
and ever since then, it's been good buddies who get to laugh about the past.
Right.
So yeah, no, it was nothing like that at all. Yeah, and we just it's been a really good working relationship together. So yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, the fans really hold on to it. I know.
Well, and then you're like, guys, because then as a rational fan, you're like, that was so long ago. Like they were in high school, guys. Like they're not the same people. Like you grow up and you grow out of these things, and then you could be friends with somebody you dated in high school. It's very normal.
Yeah, Kristen did a Q&A recently that I think somebody had asked her that too. It was like, you guys have such great chemistry. She's like, yeah, we've known each other. That's what happens when you know each other for 20 years. Like you have good chemistry.
All that bullshit behind us, and I think it also makes for a unique opportunity with the show to be like, it's one thing to have your high school life taped for cameras, you know, when you're 18 years old, but how about going back 18 years later with your ex from the show and going over it? But like we're so emotionally past everything that happened to us back in the day, and it's moved into that like, oh, what a sweet innocent time in our life, you know.
Right.
So that it almost works perfectly for this, because we can go over everything, we can take the piss out of it, we can give each other shit, and there's just nothing else there. So it's good to have that.
Right, and those moments are now, they probably seem so minuscule to things that happen later in life when you become an adult, and there's
such a big deal in high school.
There's some big things that happen, and then you look back to the high school shit, and you're like, I am wondering why I got so mad at that. But at the time, it seemed so big.
You would think so, but a lot of people keep reminding me of certain moments that happened because of the TV show. So I'm like, oh shit, I really fucked that up. What an asshole!
You're like, I was 18.
Yeah. I know. There's only so much of you know, oh wow, I was such a kid, you know, back in the day. I can really say at the end of the day, I did some dumb shit, and I will be the first to say it. And it is right there for those cameras on MTV. So, but yeah, look, we knew we were signing up for something, but you know, being able to have, I think the innocence and naivety of kids that we were looking forward to an opportunity. Like I wanted to work on TRL. That was a goal of mine from even before MTV coming around. I wanted to host. And so it was like, all right, we knew we were going to get some connections here, but really what you see, I feel like today with a lot of people leaning into trying to be famous, and like they've got the full agenda, and you know, I totally get it if that's their thing. But back then we were just kind of like, oh, this will be fun. Like we're going to get some free trips from MTV, some free opportunities. And like, you know, that's just going to add to this more fun, like, let's have fun at this point in our life. So, yeah.
Then no social media at that time, and in that way, the way it is now. So it's like, oh, so many people. I think that also ties into what you were saying about how some reality TV now feels so curated, because these people are just using the show as a way to gain the Instagram followers and then make that their career instead of, you know, just doing a little TV show.
I'm trying to think, because obviously Laguna Beach, The Hills, it was truly you guys were on TV, and we didn't go to Instagram and Twitter to go find your guys' handles and follow everybody. And then I think Jersey Shore, I think, was probably the last bit of that. And it was a cuss, because I know Twitter was around.
Yeah.
But that was genuine.
Yeah.
And then it kind of turned into people were going on reality TV because they realized the social media following they can get. Yeah. And then you look back at those reality shows, and they were all high quality reality shows.
The Hills is, I love The Hills, but we know how fake The Hills was for a long time.
That was a different, it's funny how over the years, how much it's blended, and actually discovered, it's weird towards the end of season 2 in Laguna, you've got where Talon basically dropped out of high school and moved up to LA. And so he's hanging out with some of the kids in LA that wind up being on The Hills. You've got, I think Frankie Delgado is there. Like there's an episode in Laguna, and Heidi's already friends with Lauren at that point from when they met at FITM. So, because over the years, it was like, for me, it was like, all right, moved on from Laguna. And I came back and did one episode of The Hills where I took Lauren out to dinner, but I was really trying to separate myself because I wanted to get into acting. And it's always been really funny where people were like, you're the dude from The Hills. And I'm like, no, Laguna Beach.
Right. Like, and One Tree Hill.
Yeah, they've totally blended together between The Hills and Laguna. And I at some point I just had to accept it. But I kind of looked at them as something to me, it's very different, because you had these kids that actually went to high school together, and then you have these kids up in Hollywood that were brought together, and it's just such a different world. But it really is interesting how they all blended together. And But yeah, seeing them on the show at the very end of Laguna, I was like, that's something I was like, oh, okay, this really adds to why it's so easy for people to just sit all of like, oh, well, the kids from the hills are also, engaged with the kids from Laguna. So.
And then Kristen comes on later on in the hills. So I think that's why. But I'm sorry if you guys have talked about this before, but I think people are interested on how you guys were even approached to do a reality show when you were in high school. Like, who did MTV have to go to get that started?
Yeah, so I think they were trying to do something in LA for a little while. And then somebody, and I know they say they had the idea before the OC came out. But I think as people started to float around where they weren't really finding the area in LA that they wanted, and the OC started to air, they're like, let's go look down in Laguna or in Orange County. And they found, Laguna and started looking there. And yeah, early on, it was through our school. It was at the high school. And rumors were honestly flying around for months, if not maybe a year. I remember it was around for a long time. And then all of a sudden, one day, they showed up in like January. And they had, everyone was filling out packets, and some producers were there at break and lunch. And yeah, they just got a little information on everybody. And then they started bringing people in, getting more information, more details. And then that weekend was the Super Bowl, the performance with Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake. We had the wardrobe malfunction. That was an MTV production. So for some reason, that's what was eventually the last flag for like the parents and the teachers association, if you will, the school board to be like, actually, you know what, MTV, maybe we get off campus, And so they had already met everyone, but that's why you never see any of our high school or anything, is because eventually the school, I think after that production, was like, you know what, maybe this is a bad idea, and kicked them off campus. Meanwhile, the kids had already met everyone. They'd already met all the kids yet. We were already on board. So from there, they shot a lot of people. They shot a huge, just hours and hours of footage for like 2 weeks, and then cut it all down. And then they brought a few of us in with our parents to this suite at the St. Regis in Dana Point, I believe it is, and showed us a little presentation. This is not the pilot that eventually ended up on MTV, but this was the pilot presentation for the parents.
They made it look nice to the parents. They made it look like, oh, look at these wholesome kids in high school.
I know. And then, to my shock, the first episode, it's like me just straight up like in this like full blown love triangle, cheating on these girls left and right, thinking I'm getting away with it. And I remember watching the first episode like, oh, fuck. What did I get myself into?
I can't even imagine if they brought the cameras into the school. It would have just been chaos.
I know. It would have been so weird. And also there would have been probably a lot of like food flying through frame. Like kids are so weird in high school. Could you imagine like what's going on? Like how they would actually be able to shoot something? It would probably have to be after school. But the idea of a camera being in the corner of a classroom while Mr. Olney's teaching me econ and the rest of my senior friends are just going to let it slide. Like, fuck no. I'm going to get crushed.
Right.
We already got crushed around Laguna. I had friends that they saw me sitting outside of cafe with Lauren. I think this actually happened. One of my first time shooting a scene, a couple buddies like drove by, and all the windows were down. They were hollering all sorts of things I can't repeat now. But yeah, they were laying into me, which was pretty fun.
What I have found so interesting too, when you guys talked about it in your kind of intro episode, which is where you were talking about all this stuff too, is that you then just went to college and the show wasn't on, and you're just a freshman trying to fit in and make friends, and now all of a sudden you're the star of Laguna Beach on an MTV reality show. How did your peers see you in college at that time? Because I remember you said something, you had to like move dorms. You moved dorms later.
I was on the waiting list to the dorms. So MTV actually got lucky with this, because I first stayed in Trey, who's on Laguna, his parents' condo in downtown San Francisco, which is a very beautiful place, and no college freshman deserves to be living there. But they were kind enough to let me live in it for a month until I got off the waiting list. Classic, high school procrastinator over here. I got on, I signed up for the dorms a little late. And so MTV got to shoot there. And of course, it looks like me, this kid from Laguna Beach going to, here's his condo that he's living in for college, which is not the case at all. And I got in there, and I had my friend go and check out who my roommate was. Seemed like a cool guy. And I was like, all right, seemed like it's all good. And I walk in to meet my roommate, and he's like, holy shit, dude, are you on that Laguna Beach show? And he immediately goes to his computer, like brings up like the little MTV website and just the smallest little profiles they have on everybody. And he goes, no fucking way. What the fuck? It's so random. His name's
I can
Ryan.
envision this.
Yeah. And he was like, what the, like, how the, he's just like, wants to know everything. And then from there, with other groups of friends, they were like, how does this all happen? They want to know, how did this happen? Is this real? And I'm like, it's complicated. Like, everyone sit down and grab a drink. I'll try to explain it all to you. But then from there, we had some pretty fun little watch parties where they wanted live commentary as the episodes aired, which we did. And I was seeing them for the first time, and I'm like, and I remember like, the prom episode, they show like Kristen and I kind of going in this hotel room. I was like, oh shit, like Kristen's gonna hear it from her dad on that one. That's not good. Like she's gonna be in a lot of trouble there. And so they definitely enjoyed that. But the funny thing was, Ryan Satin was my roommate, and the time he was working on acting and maybe wanted to become an actor, but he wound up switching gears and he wound up working for TMZ, and he's now a host for wrestling for Fox Sports, does some stuff for them. But it was kind of funny. We kind of did this 180 where I thought I was going to maybe do hosting and work on that side, and then he was going to act, and we kind of did this 180 after school. But it was just random who I got paired up with, but we had a good time in college. So thankfully I had a good group of people that took care of me, because there were a lot of knuckleheads, of course, that would just want to kick my ass because I was on TV.
Right.
So going to parties was always a little bit of a difficult situation, but good group of kids that I'm always grateful for.
That's awesome. That sounds like you had a good experience, because it could have went the other way where nobody wanted to be your friend.
I know. And I honestly went to school there. They're going like, all right, everyone's going to USC. People are going to San Diego. This is what you do from Southern California. I want something new. I want like a new experience. Yeah. Didn't really think that one all the way through.
It's different now, because I'd imagine, and I'm not 100% sure, but, we talked, like she mentioned, the Boys Meets World cast and talking with them and how they were treated at school. And, some people picked on them. Now I feel like if you have a following or whatever it is on TikTok and then you go to college, like, don't you feel like now those people, obviously there's going to be jealous kids, but majority are going to want to be like, I want to hang out with that person, because then they want the followers. It's a different game now, I feel.
I actually would think it's pretty split, because kids can
still be mean. Yeah.
So I'd imagine that, like, if you do have a following, you could get really picked on.
Like, the jealousy part of it will take over, but then there's going to be the other part of it where people want those followers too.
Yeah.
Of course, there's so much pressure with that these days. I mean, at my age, you feel it away an extent of, in this industry, like, are you doing enough online with social media? And I can only imagine when you're still trying to form your brain, at 18 years old, and going to this big new chapter of your life where you're really going to grow up the most in college. And I mean, I was actually, so my girlfriend just took me to her school down in Clemson, and we were there. It's kind of middle of August, and they were doing, I guess, what it's called Spirit Week. And so there were some sororities really kind of like drumming up the noise. And like, they talked about where they were on their 1 hour break, where it's understood that everyone's going on social media and talking about like what's going on campus with their sorority. And so you feel like, to what you're saying, like, I think that there's, I'm sure that's a big part of recruitment for going into these, college sororities, fraternities and whatnot.
That's crazy that they have allotted time. Like, all right, everyone, time to post.
Time to post.
Posting time. Oh my gosh.
You know what to do. Here's our hashtags. Here's our tags. Make sure you do it.
That honestly gives me the shivers.
I mean, you've seen hashtag Bama Rush?
I've seen it, and it scares the shit out of me. I say it all the time.
Man. But Stephen, how much time was in between college for you and One Tree Hill?
So I I immediately I did a year of college, and then I started doing more hosting stuff with MTV, and I got the gig to host TRL a little bit. And so I was going back and forth between LA and New York for about a year and a half. And at that point, it was actually doing the hosting. At that point, I was like, you know what? Like, there's something about acting. I'd done a little bit as a kid in middle school, and always kind of found it interesting, and wanted to just dabble, see if it was something I'd kind of catch on to. And so I started taking some classes in LA, and I really kind of got the bug and just was like, all right, let me just try to consume as much as possible on this. Really was not interested actually in hosting anymore, and really wanted to focus on acting. So to me, I had worked on a movie. I kind of stayed off of auditioning for a little while and was like, all right, I need to study for a few months. And then we'll take it from there. And after about a year of studying, I landed a movie in Providence, Rhode Island called Normal Adolescent Behavior. It was a great cast. And Hillary Burton was actually in that movie as well. And I met her and spoke, and we had these backgrounds. She was like, you work on TRL? I worked on TRL. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, yeah. I didn't even know. Like, what are the chances, we come across each other. We both didn't know that we worked on TRL. And she's talking about this show, One Tree Hill, that she's shooting down in this cute little, Carolina town called Wilmington, and the life that she was living down there. I was like, oh, that's an awesome, sounds like an awesome experience. And from there, the show just kept popping up. It was weird. We had some guests on from, I think Chad Michael Murray was on for an episode when I was out there for TRL. And then I'd see it at like my hotel room. I'd turn on the TV and randomly be on and be like, I want to work on this show. And then an audition came up. And in the audition, the character talks about Laguna Beach and says something about like, oh, those spoiled kids from Laguna or something, which I kind of a little bit of like, I was like, We're not all spoiled. That's what MTV put out there. It's not everyone's.
I remember that line, and I had always thought it was on purpose because of you.
So here's the thing. There was that character didn't work, and that was later on. So I wound up auditioning for them, and we're going in a couple times. They're like, oh, he was seated for that audition. Have him come in and stand up, and I could tell it was like, oh, they're putting me through it because the kid from the reality show. It's like, can he act?
You're the spoiled kid from Laguna Beach.
Yeah.
I know. We're not gonna just give this to him, right? And then they're like, you know what? They're going in a different direction with the character, but they really love you. Hopefully they'll bring you back. I'm like, let them know I'd love to work on the show. And it wasn't too long after that. They called me in for another role, audition process again, and then we booked it. And I was so happy. I was like, this is the show. I really wanted to be on the show. And from there, it continued on, thankfully. And there was a line down the road there where they asked me, they're like, all right, we want to make a Laguna reference here. How do you feel about it? And I was like, let's do it. We got it. So, a lot of people remember that line. I think he says, let that dude from Laguna Beach. And it's like, no, that's some other douchebag or something.
Yeah.
Some other tool.
That's some other tool.
Right.
Was it the wedding? Was it
I was at the bar because I think
yes.
Which was like one of my little regrets of the early days of One Tree Hill is I made the choice to like have the bartender have his towel over his shoulder. They have it around their like belt loop or something, or it's just there for a second. And it was just like, whenever I see a little shot or some sort of a picture from those early episodes, I'm like, dude, take the towel off your shoulder, man. You're such a rookie.
Right. Let loose. No, there's so many layers to One Tree Hill, and we talk about this all the time, the crazy storylines that happen in the show, but I loved every part of it. Like, I truly was a huge fan of those later seasons that, things got really wild, but I was like, this like, I'm following. Like, this is getting really crazy, but I'm into it.
And those ladies now, they do their drama queens, and that show is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Those three are just absolutely magic when they're all together.
Right.
I love them.
I think the idea for all of these shows are so great because people are so invested, and with streaming nowadays, everyone can go back, binge watch all these shows, watch shows they've never seen before, and then you become invested in your guys' lives and what happened behind the scenes. I think that all of it is so interesting. And
that's why the Rewatch podcast has been so popular.
Right. You said you had a funny story for us, and we didn't get to hear it, so let's hear it.
I was just going to say, you just reminded me when you were talking earlier about the episode length of the podcast that the girls are doing with One Tree Hill, Drama Queens. And I gave them so much credit because we're getting through our episodes. We would have gotten through a majority of them, but I was like, man, doing 187 of them, which is the episodes of One Tree Hill there were. I'm like, damn. I was like, I don't know how you guys do it. So we were talking before we got on, and I mean, you guys were like, I'm Rhea, I'm Fran. I remember we talked about everyone is doing great. Of course, I remember you guys, but I also saw you guys in New York City having lunch, and I just walked by. And it didn't hit me until I was a few steps by. And I was like, I know them. that's Fran and Rhea.
Wow.
And
Wow.
I should have turned around and said something, but I just kept going.
That would have made us look so cool.
Were we alone or were we with other people?
It was just the two of you.
Oh my God, we would have felt so cool.
This was like a year ago.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
The last time we hung out. No, I'm kidding. No, that's funny. I wish you would have said hi. I mean, we would have.
I know.
That would have really, for the people around us, would have, was cool.
It was one of those things like, who, what, oh yeah, no. And then your names immediately popped in my mind.
No, that is funny. And
sorry I didn't say hello.
Honestly, thank you for even telling us that, because like he said, when we said, hey, I'm Rhea, I'm Fran, I was like, you were on the show. We never know if people remember us, because over Zoom, you just never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Not your interview, but there was a couple that we did a bunch because everything was on Zoom at the beginning of COVID, that now we're like, oh my God, that person was on our show. We're like, we had them as a guest.
I'll call him out. I don't know if you know who Wells Adams. He just got married to Sarah Hyland. He was in the Bachelor franchise, and we're friendly with him now. We're close with him, and it's very funny to look back on. But we had him on our show like once or maybe even twice, and then he came on our show in LA, and he was like, thanks for finally having me on. And we were like, you've been on our show. So now we just still give him shit. But if we see you sitting down having lunch somewhere, we will stop and say hi.
I owe you guys lunch. How about that?
Perfect.
We'll have to have a lunch sometime.
That works, and you'll be able to come back on the show in the studio, which would be awesome as well next time you're in New York. Stephen, thank you so much for chatting with us. Back to the beach. Everyone listen. It's really great, guys. If you love Laguna Beach, it's a great way to rewatch and then listen to everything that Stephen and Kristen have to say about the show, because it's great. Everyone remembers Cabo, but now we finally get to hear your thoughts on Cabo.
Yep.
So it's
the infamous trip.
Yep, exactly. It's everything the fans have always wanted. So we definitely appreciate it.
Yes.
And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
See ya.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you
Thanks,
so
Steven.
much.
All right. You guys take care.
You too. Thanks.
All right, that wraps up today's episode of Chicks in the Office. We hope you guys have an amazing weekend. We will be taking off Monday due to the holiday weekend, but we will be back on Wednesday. Make sure you subscribe to Chicks in the Office everywhere, and enjoy your weekend.